importance of October 10 is World Mental Health Day. And WHO have announced this Mental Health Day giving importance for the work-life balance. Today I'm so happy to be with Mr. Nathan Kundala. For me, he is my great teacher, guru, but I'm meeting him some 8 years.
Yes, precisely.
After. By this time of this 8 years, I have become myself an educator, entrepreneur and whatever. But you are ultimately the teacher, the guru himself I got to meet, and I'm so happy to be with you. And on this theme, I think we will have something like very exciting to talk about, because in my case, when I turned out to be an educator, definitely you were an inspiration.
Okay.
And when it comes to you, you are someone who is traveling across India, meeting thousands of students,
Shana.
especially in civil service coaching.
Yes.
So there is a lot to talk about it. So before that, sir, how's life going?
Guys, that's fantastic. So that's my student. Years ago, I was on the podium teaching her. She was listening. Now the tables have turned. She's educator, I'm educator. Now, see, basically, 10th of October is essentially World Mental Health Day. Now, our focus, why I wanted to come to this discussion was precisely as somebody being an educator for more than 13 years and somebody who has transitioned from a learner to an educator, we both have seen different dimensions of what all teachers, students, educators go through in this phase of learning and in this phase of teaching. Now, essentially, mental health is a very significant aspect of people's life today, and what you feel in the mind, in fact, actually reflects in the class.
Exactly.
And whatever reflects in the class actually goes into the mind of the student. So a mental disturbance in the mind goes into the mental disturbance of the student, and it's a cycle continuing. Isn't that, Shana?
Exactly, sir. What was I asking you is that being a teacher, educator, the presence of mind of the educator in that morning when he comes to the class really matters. Every one of you will be having a grumpy teacher experience in your school, college, or wherever. We don't like some particular teachers because teacher is always grumpy, teacher is always firing us or whatever. So, but for me, when it comes to you personally, I learned art and culture for UPSC Civil Services examination from you, and you were just flowing in the classroom. So that was an inspiration. When I teach anyone, anywhere, I used to mention you, I remember you, so that there are some people or teachers we treasure in our heart. So tell me, how do you keep up that energy in the classroom?
See, in the initial days when I was teaching, obviously, for me it was a difficult thing to get adjusted to the class environment and my personal life and my professional life. But as time went, in fact, with your batch, Shana, I actually started an experiment of keeping my mind completely private. The minute I enter the class, I'm a different person. The minute I'm outside the class, I'm a different person. But that comes as a skill set. That comes as a capability. The reality is, yes, even for me, there are times when I've gone through a lot of different things. And those definitely reflect in the class when I'm exhausted. Mental exhaustion is actually more dangerous than physical exhaustion. And we teachers go through a lot of mental exhaustion because we are learning too much, we are reading too much, we are delivering too much. For me, my inspiration to continue everything lively entirely depends on the other side of my class, which is the sitting lot. Now, if those guys are smiling, it reflects my mental side. And this batch was very good, and particularly in Kerala, I did have a lot of experience with really good students. Okay, but then they will only like it once I know what I'm delivering. So it's a cycle. So it's like a ping pong. Only if I serve the ball correctly, that comes out correctly. If I don't do the delivery properly, you will start getting exhaustion. Given, Shana, you teach history, I teach history. You know how boring history can become.
Exactly. History, especially art and culture, when it comes to civil service preparation, even students prefer to skip it as such because they're not ready to look into it. So I remember all those things, like where you were talking about some dance form, some music form. You were just taking the class along, and after a full day class of art and culture would be definitely tiring. No doubt. So one thing beyond the classroom, when it comes to our personal life, see, being an educator, you are meeting a lot of new people across the wherever you go. But same time, see, we used to speak about something called me time when it comes to this work-life balance beyond family time or whatever. There's something called me time. So I recently found you doing some motivation videos, some singing and all in Instagram. So this real motivation monk acid. So it happened at some point of time, right? You were not doing it in the
No,
very
yes.
beginning. So so there is something that I wish that every teacher or educator, whatever professional they have to identify that space of happiness. Might be very small for others, but it's very special for us.
Yes.
So could you please share about that? At which point you felt that you have to do?
See, I'll tell the fact. See, Shana, some time ago you used a word called grumpy teachers. Now, see, back decades ago, we used to have, we used to have a social fixed profile for a teacher. A teacher, in the sense, was somebody who needs to have a serious face, needs to be dressed up in formals, ideally even in a hot summer, suited in a three-piece, and had to be extremely serious in the class, because that is what was anticipated as dignified and gentlemanly. But then that has changed. This generation has changed. This generation has changed. People understand you differently. And even for us, even for you, me, we teachers, while yes, we teach, yes, we go through classes, we take teachers, we talk to people, there comes a point of exhaustion. You have to put out your pressure on some way or the other. The point of exhaustion. Most of the times it's not negative exhaustion. It is just a time where you're like, I'm done with teaching.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what happens with most of the teachers. Most of the teachers are actually afraid of their social profile in order to exert this. I'll tell you, take my example. 3 months ago, I was not doing all these videos of singing and talking motivation stuff on YouTube or on my Insta profile, Real Motivation Monk. But then there came a point where I started expressing it. Initially, people were shocked that, sir, you do this also.
Yeah.
Yes, they were laughing. Yes, they were. Then for me, I took it sporty. Now I continue it. Now when I don't put it, the question comes, sir, it's been a couple of days, you haven't sung anything.
Oh.
So that has now become a part of mechanism. So when I'm doing nothing, I just take my mic and start doing something. I put an Insta channel. You need to have one channel where you can actually put the diversion of all your social pressures, especially work pressures, onto a singular channel or a singular platform.
Sir, so even teachers or educators, let's say, beyond coaching industry, maybe school teachers or college professors, I've seen them, people work with a monotonous routine. I think people, even there are teachers who just work for getting paid.
Yes.
See, everyone work for getting paid, that is another thing, but same time, identifying our profession, see, all of us were civil service aspirants at point, at least both of us
Yes.
were. So, but at some point we found that energy is contagious and we get it from them and give it.
Yes.
Right? So, so that sense of identification, everyone should do, right?
Precisely. See, teachers are losing the track. Look, we teach. Most of the times we teach the same subject.
Yeah.
Most of the times we teach the same thing again and again and again and again. At the place I teach, I have to teach nearly 40 batches exactly the same content.
Especially history.
In the
No
same year,
updates.
especially history, and especially it's a very core subject.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have to make it innovative. And I always do that with a single channel. If I was sitting as a student, would I listen the same story again? Or would I want to listen the story in a different dimension?
Exactly.
Once you know that, you're on the track. Because even that breaks your monotony with the subject.
Really.
Yes.
Yes. Sir, again, when it comes to the space of like the academic background, the things we did, so there is something called a middle life crisis,
Midlife
usually,
crisis, yes.
which contributes much more to this work-life balance issues, because we are working for something, life is going some this way, I had a lot of aspirations on that, am I doing it right? So I think this work-life balance issue actually comes from this midlife crisis actually.
Yes.
Maybe for the people, I think this midlife crisis nowadays it's from 25 onwards, it's
25 onwards.
going on.
Ideally, once you reach 35, and by the time of 40, you start reaching midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Where
Have you been somewhere?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yes. I've been through midlife crisis, man. I've been through midlife crisis at profession, midlife crisis at personal. I understand how people go through. Now, handling midlife crisis itself is quite simple.
Yeah.
Understand that it will happen. It's a part of your life. You will feel exhausted with whatever is happening in your life on a daily basis, on a morning basis, evening. It's the same thing like you eat the same breakfast every day for 7 days. The 8th day, you're going to get frustrated. But that does not mean you stop your breakfast. You still
Yeah.
have to do it. Eat less, but you still have to eat it. That's a simple logic, what I can tell you about midlife crisis.
Every time people will be having some aspirations, dreams, or we hope for something called a better life. See, what I have identified regarding this work-life balance, one thing, maybe we are earning something. It's not about educators or maybe what LPA you are in, doesn't matter, I'm saying. But if you earn something, let it be 10,000 rupees per month, it matters when, if you could spend some 100 rupees for something you love.
Yes.
Can be a canteen, can be a drive, can
Yes.
be visiting new place or whatever it is, within the limits.
And have a lazy day.
Yeah.
Because
Much
I mean, while all students, Shana, few others, my faculties all know only the professional life of mine. If laziness is a religion, I can be the God.
Same to you.
If laziness I can stay on the couch for 3 full days doing absolutely nothing, putting TV on mute and don't know what I did.
And
that's
it's
needed.
okay to do that.
That's needed actually.
Yeah.
That's needed. It's same like what you do with electronic. After a time of usage, it needs a time of relaxation. Most educators, teachers, even students are going through psychological exhaustion, not physical exhaustion.
Really.
Students are not even in your running, please understand, even in marathons, you've got to take a break. And break is part of it. And until where this everything went up to. Like take in our business, which in our UPSC coaching, they keep telling you're at war, you need to fight, work hard, wake up in the morning. We're not in a gym. If you're not in your comfort zone to preparation, you're not going to prepare. We are not war. This is not war. You're not waking up in the morning, wear an armory, taking a sword and start fighting everybody everywhere with books.
So really, this is what these students always say. Some days we are doing it good. Some days
Go
we are
lazy.
feeling very low. It's okay to take a break, but we should come back.
Go lazy.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's
The
it.
reality is you need to teach. And same with teachers. Same ditto with teachers. Many teachers are overworking too much. Take a break. Relax. It's okay.
Targets might wait.
Targets will wait. If not today, you'll do it tomorrow. The idea is if you do it every day, you're going to screw up the more chances of screwing up the target is there when you're exhausted
Exactly.
than when you're taking a break.
Sir, one thing that once when we conclude this particular thing,
Yes.
regarding the productivity, see what we're discussing, people always put this productivity in a quote and saying that how productive I am. So I say that being in that competition 24/7 is the thing that we are looking around, he's doing better than
Yes,
me.
yes.
My friend, he's on a vacation abroad or whatever. Is it? Maybe social media plays a very important role in that. We might be motivating ourselves to do something. Yeah, I'm okay, and we'll see a post of a friend. Oh, again, we're going.
I'll tell you one fact about the productivity part. Most people are trying to calculate tangible productivity.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody is forgetting intangible productivity.
Exactly, that's right.
There are many things about productivity which you can't physically measure or estimate in a singular column. These are not something like, for example, I'm teaching. My tangible productivity is I taught for the entire 2.5 hours. My intangible productivity is how much the students understood. My tangible productivity is immediate. I can understand that 2.5 hours I stood, I taught, I put it on the board. But how much the students understood is not something I'll be able to calculate on the same day.
Obviously.
That productivity is intangible. That comes in a day, 2, 1 month, 1.5 months later.
Yeah.
Now, intangible productivity, tangible productivity, nobody is understanding. People are just in a mad race and do not compete because, as Albert Einstein famously said, if you try to judge a fish on the basis of how much tree the fish could climb, it makes no sense. You're trying to compare a fish with a tree. Fish is not supposed to be alive. Each of us have a different dimension. When I was learning, Take for example, when I was a student, I loved history, but I hated geography. Even if the senior most faculties come, even if God comes and teaches me geography, it's an alien subject for me. I learn. For the sake of exam, I learn. But I was never in the comfort zone. I was never in competition with people who love geography. I know people who love geography. I was never in the competition because I know where my limit is. Geography is a great subject, good subject, but not my cup of tea. I am a basic guy. Polity, history, economy, I liked it. Geography, I never liked it. So I am not trying to compare myself. That's exactly what the faculties or teachers also have to do. No teacher can be estimated on the amount of the pay, on the amount of work, or the number of hours they're teaching, on the amount of students they're meeting. In my experience, I've seen teachers who are very popular, but come feedback of the classes, zero. I've seen good teachers who have not been able to do it good enough because not many people know them. So both the dimensions happen. Both does not mean they are unproductive. Both of these have some weakness somewhere in their productivities. That needs to be fixed. And as a warning, if you start comparing yourselves on productivity dimensions, you will get impacted mentally. It will create mental disturbance, which will even destroy the limited amount of work that you actually do.
See, when it comes to teachers, the issue is that either you work in a tech or in front of a system or a computer, it's okay for some time at least. Here, the right moment when you are on podium in front of the students, no second you can distract from that, right?
You can't.
That is the difference, because we are dealing with hundreds of active brains in front of us. They are looking at us, they are observing us. So this is again, I have seen faculties who comes up with anxiety issues at time when
panic and anxiety. Yes.
Panic, people does, but when they get into the class, they are okay with the batch, they'll go through. But many faculties I have seen that before they get into the class, they have this kind of a tantrum.
Exactly.
And they say that, okay, once when you get to the pace, we'll go. So this comes because, right, when we are, we make face questions, they are in front of us, alive, the active brains, there it comes. So it's not about 100% we know everything about the subject. No. No one can be an educator in that way is what
no.
I understand.
Yes.
You are also agreeing
yes.
to that?
Yes, see, please understand.
There is no educator like...
Teacher is not God. I mean,
exactly.
Look, I don't want to, somebody as a culture guy, I'm telling you, there's been overhype created about teachers as Guru Brahma, Guru Devo and all that. But please understand, teachers are just teachers. They know something slightly more than you. They're just guiding you on through the subject. Yeah. That is where you're working with teachers. And for teachers, please understand, you're not gods. You're not recreating history, you're not writing scriptures.
And you don't want to know everything.
Exactly. That's not the purpose of your life.
Yeah.
You know much better, slightly more than what the students are listening to. You're delivering what you know. Deliver it good. Make them understand. Love them. Give them what they want. They'll remember you. They'll remember you. Help them in their subject. Students will remember you. They'll definitely remember.
Yeah. One last thing I can add is that when it comes to this particular thing, say we call art of saying no. You know, when it comes to work or life or whatever, as you said, it's okay to be not okay, or we can say no at times. I don't know this maybe, or I'll look back and come.
Happens to me a lot.
Because our children, especially in Indian culture, we were trained or groomed this way. This, as you said, guru or whatever, some that
yes.
kind of. See, when it comes to women, also we used to say we just glorify them and we'll make them do everything.
That's it. Yes.
Somewhat like that. So
I'll give an example. We're like, for example, I mean, I might be a little controversial to say, but if you ever read Matthias P. Matthias's biography of Jawaharlal Nehru, the loved Prime Minister of India, was one of the first Prime Ministers who loved his cigars. Edwina Mountbatten always used to say there is nobody better than Nehru who can serve an alcohol in the country. And he was the first Prime Minister to be in a full-fledged live-in relationship with Padmaja Naidu at Tirumurti Bhavan, mentioned in his own biography. Just because he was in a live-in relationship Just because he was loving his cigars and just because he was loving his parties and drinking wine, it doesn't make him useless fellow. Nehru will still remain our the best prime minister. Now the problem what happened is we are trying to over glorify and find a godman in Nehru. That's exactly what all the teachers are also trying to do and the students are trying to do. You're trying to find a god in teacher.
Yeah.
Or the teacher is trying to make himself a god for the students. Both doesn't help. You're just a friend
Yeah.
who's trying to help. You know a little better, trying to help somebody cross the line.
Exactly. So also students who might be listening to this, see, it's not like teacher is teacher. Making
That's
him
it.
friend, maybe sometimes it work out
Yes,
or let it be.
it's okay.
Yeah. So that was,
Okay.
see, sir, if we sit together, we'll be like,
This can go for years.
yes. And on this particular topic, it's very important. Like, see, this conversation just happened on a note where we have taken some minutes
Yes.
just to let you know that, see, everything. See, someone should initiate whether we
Yes.
can talk about it at least. So you guys also start talking about this. So there is how change comes. See, when WHO wanted to notify it as like on a theme of work-life balance, many people have lost their life,
Yes.
even in corporate, even the students. See, when it comes to the stat, when it comes to the number of suicides of young people post-COVID,
Yes.
or even in the coaching industry itself particularly, we can count it on hand. So now we are alert with the thematic implementation of this. So take this month as an opportunity where you can just talk about it, spread the word.
Okay, guys. So we'll keep coming more with these videos and more of these discussions now. And trust me, guys, it's always an inspiration for a teacher to share a chair with your own student. Trust me, when a student grows to this level, it's always an inspiration. That's exactly how a teacher has to be, and that's exactly how a student has to be. We'll keep coming more the student-teacher discussions, and we'll be talking more about motivations and more
let's
about
speak
life.
more about life.
Okay?
Yeah.
We'll keep discussions more about life. Follow, like, and subscribe, guys. You can follow me on Real Motivation Monk on Instagram, and you can also follow Shana on her Insta channel, and also keep following us on Gokul MC IAS Academy. Okay? Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Bye bye.